want to go ahead and continue the answer key from the previous video. I apologize, the sound went out unexpectedly in the middle of that. So I wanted to just talk through this. I'm not going to rewrite it, just talk through the steps here. So you'll notice I've shown all of the information that could be helpful as conversion factors. So we identify NH3 and a mass is something we might need to be aware of. So we write down the molar mass of NH3. We can calculate this from the periodic table. We are given a mass of hydrogen, so we write that down as just some information. Because, again, this is a mass, we might need to know the molar mass. So, again, we can calculate this from the periodic table. And then, finally, we have this relationship between the coefficients in the balanced equation that could be helpful. So we are looking at hydrogen and NH3. So those are the two things in the balanced equation we want to look at. So we have these coefficients are the basis of this final equality. So 3 moles H2 is equal to 2 moles NH3. Okay, so that's where that comes from. I do want to emphasize here that there are several possible relationships between each of the things in this balanced equation. We need to decide which one matters based on the question. So we identify NH3 and H2 as the two things we care about. So that's where we get this equality. This is important. This is sort of the key step in this whole process, is identifying this particular equality, because everything else we're doing is something. So we know how to do this. We know how to do this from Module 5. This is the new thing, and this is how we get from one to the other. So we go ahead and set this up. So we have the mass of H2. We were given the 2.57 grams. We set up our conversion for H2 for moles. So we have the molar mass, grams on the bottom, so it cancels out. Then we use the stoichiometric coefficients to go from H2 to NH3. So H2 on the bottom, those cancel. NH3 on the top. And then we have the molar mass of the NH3, and we're showing how that cancels as well. So we multiply across the top, so 2.57 times 2 times 17.04, and then divide across the bottom 2.02, and then divide by 3. If you do that, you should get 14.5 grams of NH3. So that is the answer key for this example problem. And that essentially concludes this section. So go ahead and get some practice on the worksheet, ask questions in the discussion board, and then move on to the next module if you're ready. I should also say this is the last module that you should look at before the end of week 1. I want you to get at least a little bit of practice with this before we have our lab during the first week, so we can have questions about this if necessary. Don't feel like you have to be a master of this concept, but I would expect you to know enough to have questions if you don't have it mastered.